There's a certain magic that comes with learning something new. It's not the kind of magic that comes easy. It doesn't arrive overnight. Nope, it sneaks in. After frustration, after failure, and after the quiet moments when you wonder why you even started at all. When you're trying to learn something new, whether it's fairing a hull, reading a weather chart, or installing an electric motor, it tests you. It humbles you. And sometimes it downright breaks you. It can be easy to romanticize the idea of learning. The growth, the challenge, the payoff. But what we don't talk about enough is what happens when you put in the effort and it still falls apart.
What was that?
Up top?
Because learning a new skill isn't always a straight line. Sometimes it's a loop. You try, you fail, you get frustrated. And you ask yourself, is it even worth it? But that's where the reward lives. In the grit, in the doing, in the stubbornness not to quit. Out here, living aboard a boat, you're always a student.
Let me tighten it up.
Yeah, I think that's the secret, right?
Always fixing, adjusting, learning as you go. And the lessons, they're rarely easy, but they're always worth it. This episode is about that. The failure, the frustration,
I'm not happy with it. It looks really bad.
and the part that matters most. What comes next?
Oh, I get a help today. But first we've got to actually tape up the boat, plastic up the boat so we don't get overspray everywhere. And this stuff is already pre-taped plastic, so Beau has went around and put the blue tape where we are going to put this, and we're going to drape it over the sides onto the deck so it can cover up all of our stanchions and all the metal here, and then we'll do some on the bottom to protect the beautiful bottom job. Speaking of tape or paint, I still have paint in my hair, so hopefully my braid today will help. But I'm not painting. Beau's going to do all the painting. I'm going to be the assistant cleaning lady.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes. Like I said, this is my second time spray painting, so hopefully it goes well.
What's the worst? You just have to sand it down again.
Redo it.
We have plenty of practice in that.
We have plenty of paint too. Actually found some of these paint filters at the local hardware store. So this hopefully will help, because I did notice the gun when I was testing it got clogged up because I didn't filter it out. And the manufacturer's recommendations on thinning it is not right. I was actually doing some research online, and some painters were saying that there's a test you can do without having proper means of measuring the viscosity, thinning it enough to where when it stops free flowing, it'll drip one drip 5 times within 5 seconds. So 1 drip a second for 5 seconds, and then it should be the proper thinness. So we'll give that a go, and hopefully that does it. There's a guy who's just in front of us who's gonna grind on the hull, and we're asking him to wait.
So you want him to wait until
This afternoon.
you say this afternoon, and he's going to start
2? Yeah, 2 would be
after lunch?
2 o'clock would be good. So I think I thinned it a little too much. I mean, it flowed pretty nice, but there is a little bit of spots that you can see. I'm wondering if it's too thin or...
After lunch.
After lunch?
Yeah, we'll start sanding.
Okay, cool. So we need to get done then.
Yeah, so I'm gonna start.
Yeah.
I'll start taping up this side and
Okay.
bottom.
And then I need to wipe down the boat right now.
All right, so what am I gonna be doing?
So you're gonna be, every 10 minutes I want you to check where I started to paint and see if it's tacky. See if once it starts to get stringy, then I need to know, so I need to come back and start there from another coat and keep a wet edge basically. But since it's cloudy, it's really gonna help us. All right, let's do this. Ready?
Yep.
First spray. But what I didn't realize was this attempt was doomed from the start. I was told to keep checking my starting point for tackiness, to work in sections, and once it felt tacky, that was the cue to stop and circle back, keeping a continuous wet edge. But out here under the brutal Guatemalan sun, that plan fell apart fast. By the time I made it back to where I started, it was already dry. The heat is so bad out here, I was racing against it. While I was painting, Brandy made sure I had a fresh cup of paint at the ready. 3 years ago, we were hauled out, and that was the first time I sprayed a boat. But I borrowed a proper spray gun, one built for large surface areas. And even though I barely knew what I was doing, the equipment gave me a fighting chance. But this time, I went out, did a little research, and bought the best gun I thought could do the job. But I was way wrong. The gun I got wasn't made for projects this big. And I didn't know enough yet to see that coming. It was a hard, humbling lesson, and I learned it after spending hours painting the hull. I don't know if you guys can tell or see it, but I'm not happy with it. It looks really bad. But there's another guy here, Owen. He's working on a catamaran, and he's got a lot more experience painting than I do. And he's gonna grab his gun and see if he can do it better than me. But I'm really not happy with it. So I think if we can't get this dialed in, then we're gonna let this cure. We'll sand it with a 1000 grit, and then we'll just roll and tip it. A simple tip that stuck with me while I was spraying. Don't look at where you're going to spray. Watch where you just sprayed. It sounds small, but it made a huge difference. Keeping your eye on the paint as it hits the surface lets you really see how it lays down, whether it's too thin, too heavy, or just right. That's how you know if you need to slow down, speed up, or adjust your distance.
Add a little bit more thinners, and then I'll just spray it wet until you run out.
Way better than my job. He's saying the gun definitely makes it. That's an expensive spray gun, so it's got a much nicer fan. Plus he has like sprayed 50 cars more than I have, so he definitely knows what he's doing. Owen to save the day. God, what a lifesaver. Man, I was ready to throw in the towel.
You were.
I was moping. And then he just swept in and saved the day.
Yep. Looks so much better. Look at it, it's all shiny.
Yeah.
Well, we got the boat pretty much all taped up. It took way too long. What, 2 hours?
At least.
So now Owen's here. He's dialed in his gun. And now we just gotta mix up some paint and start spraying.
I hope the wind stays still.
Starting with a fresh pair of Vapor Guard.
Owen's method was way better than mine. He was able to get a full coat in about 15 minutes. No drama. It was super efficient and clean. He waited about 10 minutes and then did it again. Simple, effective, and professional.
Well, it's looking good so far. I definitely trust him way more than myself. So yeah, this is turning out way better than I had expected. He's getting really good coverage with that gun. That is a $500 gun versus my $20 gun, which only had like that much of a spray fan. There was nowhere compared to his gun, which he's like able to get that much coverage, so it's going a lot quicker for him.
If you never spray painted a large white surface under the sun, it's so disorienting. You lose your sense of depth. Everything starts to blur, and you feel like you're floating in a glowing white void.
So we're almost done and we ran out of power. How'd we run out of power? Well, the power went out in the yard. It happens at least once a week. So Evan was kind enough to let us borrow his generator. It's barely big enough to run that compressor, but Owen is almost done. He's got one more pass and then we're calling it, because we also ran out of thinner, so it's not meant to be. So actually that generator can't keep up with the compressor. The compressor wants too much power, so it isn't starting it. It did it once, but that was it. So we have to call it a day. Tomorrow's a new day. Time to pull tape.
Shiny. I think we got done just in time. Wind.
Yeah.
And the fact that the power went out. Look how shiny it is.
So shiny. Looks so good.
It looks so good.
Owen did an awesome job.
Another day, another spray. You say we got the music playing for you.
Back at it. The final round. This time we got the power off of the batteries, so it doesn't matter if the generator goes off or not. We're gonna have power.
It is windy. It's so hot, the tape wants to keep coming up.
If we have overspray, oh well.
Yeah, I'm gonna polish everything. We know how to make flypaper. Oh, you gotta take your shoe. I think Beau's already mentioned it, but all we're doing is concentrating on getting the vertical sides of the boat. So we are gonna go ahead and just do the non-skid for the top. We'll just roll that in. But for now, we're concentrating on getting the sides done because those are what needs to look shiny. Boatyard shenanigans. There's a cat right there. And all of the dogs on this boat are watching it.
Thank you, sir.
The whole motor just falls.
Cobblestone. Donate to Evan, he needs more pants. Here, let me get this side shot instead.
Sponsored by Haynes.
So shiny. Now we just got to get the stick back on. We can get back in the water.